Welcome to Cabin Fever here on 956 Preps, and I've got two coaches in here, both from the same district, but they coach different genders, and that's Coach J.D. Salinas, head coach of the Edinburg girls basketball team, and Coach Lucio Rodriguez from Robert Vela High School, the head coach of the boys basketball program. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Here's the question. Right now, your season was over. You guys both made it into the playoffs. You won games in the playoffs, but you're sitting here now at an impasse where you guys are getting ready for summer ball. You know, you can't really do the conditioning that you would preseason and look at the younger girls and younger boys that are coming up. What do you guys do now?
Well, do you mind? I'll go first, Lucio. I think probably one of the most important things right now is keeping in contact with the kids and their families, and reassuring that the most important thing is to stay healthy. I mean, it does hurt not to be able to play summer basketball with the kids playing in the city leagues and so forth, because that gave us a good amount of evaluation to see where the kids are at this point, and and just building relationships with them and letting them know that we care is probably the most important.
All right, and Lucio, for you, you're in your second. You finished your second season, and you're getting ready for your third season. But you've got holes to fill. How do you find the players right now that you're going to do that with when you don't have much time with your kids?
Well, like JD said, just constant communication. We talk every day, whether it be text or Google Classroom. We post workouts there. The kids upload their videos, and we're just holding them accountable throughout this time. But obviously, the evaluation part's gonna be missing, and it's very, I don't want to say nerve-wracking, but you don't know what the kids are doing right now. So it's very hard to keep base with them. So, but I think, just being in constant communication with them and just following up with them, making sure they're okay. I mean, that will suffice for now.
Now, here's a question for both of you. You guys both took over programs that were well established, and you guys kind of had to keep that winning tradition going. I guess we'll start with you, JD. When you took over, you were taking over for a team that was being split apart because actually Vela came in to the fold. Yeah. What was the biggest hurdle for you taking over a program? And, at that moment too, especially when all the kids were going to the other school, what was the biggest hurdle for you?
Oh man, that is very tough. And Jake, you were with us during that time as well. I think probably the biggest one is just buying into the program, buying into our beliefs and how we want to run things. When Robert Vela High School opened up, we lost a lot of kids. And first year we were able to be pretty successful because we had kids that graduated with us, that they were seniors: Eileen Martinez, Mitch Mercelita, Brisela Cruel. Those kids, they stuck around. And so a lot of their years of varsity experience helped. But the following year after that, we struggled a little, and just trying to get back up on track and building up the kids and the program was very challenging. But I'm glad to figure it out now.
Yeah, because now you're winning.
Well, we try. We're trying to do well.
Well, I know. I mean, right now you guys are arguably one or two, maybe three, but you're the top team every, top three teams in the Valley on the girls' side every year, it seems like. No? Did I lose you guys?
Not me, but
blessed for the great program.
Oh, sorry, he's on.
Oh, you're asking me or Lucio?
No, I was asking you. You actually paused, and so your head was just standing there. No, but you guys are the top, one of the top three teams. It seems like every year.
No, I was saying that it is. I don't know if you can hear me. You guys are kind of frozen right there. Can you got me out?
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, I was saying that Uh, we've been to the point to where we're pretty consistent year in and year out, and we've been blessed to have a number of kids that stay with us throughout. A group of freshmen, a group of sophomores, and throughout junior seniors. We try not to stay senior heavy, and so that we have kids that have varsity experience come in the following year, and they just continue to play at a high level. But we're really excited. We have our girls that are coming up next year. Our seniors will be Annika Science, Deja Tijerina, Julissa Santa Maria, and you work your way down to some kids that have been around the program for a couple of years. And then our incoming freshman class is really exciting, and to see what we have coming up.
And Lucio, you came into a program that was what, about was it 2 years, 3 years removed from going to state. And then, you came in right after Coach Keith's short stint there. And, and you were expected to right the ship, because the year before, you guys didn't have like that deep run in the playoffs. And then you came in your first year and you had some success.
Well, it helps when you have great players like Noah Seconder and Josh Diaz, who can take control of the team just by their leadership and their hard work and their work ethic. So they set the tone early on, and they made the job very easy for me, and Coach Keith, having him there the year before, he really helped me out, kind of mentored me into this position. And then also the things I was able to do with Coach Guad at Edinburg High, he gave me a lot of head responsibilities as far as, giving me some links on the chain where I could do some of the stuff that will prepare me to become a head coach. So credit to them. I thank them all the time for preparing me for this opportunity. And when the opportunity presented itself, I think I was prepared, and it helped that we had great players, so that made it a lot easier.
Now, do you find yourself, Lucio, running your team like the way you used to play when you were in high school? Because if a lot of people don't realize, Lucio was one of the best players in the Valley when he was in high school, and Coach Salinas and I were on the other staff at Edinburg watching you play when you were in high school. But do you play your guys the way you played in high school? And I remember your senior year, you had that stacked team. You had a really good team of you and Raleigh and Bobby. You guys had a really good team. Do you run your team like that team? Do you like to do the same things?
I don't think we do. I mean, we play fast the way we used to before, but in the style of play, I don't think it's the same. But we do try to play a lot in transition, just like we did with the running Bobcats. Get out in the fast break press, get as many transition baskets as possible. But as far as the style of play, I don't think it's the same as we played back in high school. The game has changed so much. So obviously we're playing the way the game is played right now, which is very different to where we played it when I played.
And Coach Salinas, if nobody's ever seen your play calling, you've got a bunch of different sets, and it's hard. I mean, it really is hard to implement all that. How do you find the time to actually get all those plays in?
Well, I've got a really great, staff, starting with George Olveron. He's our friend, your friend, Lucio's friend, and he does a super job for us, and I'm very blessed to have him, and then along with my other staff as well. But like I was telling you earlier, having kids that have been part of our varsity team, since their freshman year, their sophomore year, junior year, just like Lucio mentioned, it's vital when their leadership comes in their senior year, and they're able to remember some of the things that we do. And then all we do is just continue to tweak it and teach our underclassmen how we play basketball at Edinburg High. And that helps. But yeah, we do have a lot of things that we do run. Some are very basic quick hitters. Some are, a little bit more, but all the way from inbound plays against zones and man to our offensive sets that are different zones and man-to-man as well.
Now you guys are going into a brand new district next year. It's a bigger district. It's four Edinburg schools: PSJ, PSJ North, and La Jolla, Wise Lincoln, and La Jolla. what's that going to be like? Because, you know, you lose the Westlakos, and when you lose, like, you know, the Westlake Panthers in basketball, and nothing against the Wildcats, but, you know, just recently looking at it, that's a lot of competition that you lose when you lose that team. You're getting PSJ North, but you're also losing Westlake. And nothing against the other teams, La Jolla and Waters Lincoln, and those other ones. I'm just being realistic when I
I'll let
say,
Lucio talk on this one first.
As far as the boys' side, I mean, it's going to be competitive. PSJ North returns 4 out of 5 starters, and they return the offensive MVP. Economides returns 4 out of their 5 starters as well. La Jolla returns 3 out of the 5 starters. So it'll be competitive. It's not going to change the way we approach the season. The only thing that difference is we only get 4 weeks to prepare for a district season, rather than the 8 to 10 weeks that we've had in the past. So district will come around sooner, and we're trying to fix and accommodate our schedules to where it's going to prepare us best to when district comes around. That's the only kind of hurdle that we have to overcome with the change of the district. You know, how are we going to manage our schedules, our tournaments, our non-district games? It also eliminates some district games because we're adding district games. So all that we take that all to account to when we're making those kinds of decisions. So as far as the competition, it's going to be there, and it's going to come a lot sooner than this past year. Like I was telling Coach Salinas earlier when we were talking, if we were playing district mid-December, we probably would have been struggling this year. You know, we didn't find our identity, we didn't find our team till late December to when district really started. So that's going to be an obstacle that we're going to have to overcome. And that's not only us, that's the rest of the teams in our district.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree. You know, like Lucio mentioned in our conversation that we had early on when, you know, in preparation to our district meeting that we have with 31-6A, we were discussing the schedule. You know, having 19 district, that gives 18 district dates and 16 district games. And if you're playing 3 tournaments, that only gives us 5 non-district games. Whereas last year we were able to get multiple games in. Even during the Christmas break, we had some extra non-district games that we were able to play. But I mean, going back to being the new district, the Edinburg schools are always going to be rival schools. You know, my wife and I, we always kind of joke around about how the Vela Edinburg games, basketball boys and girls, are like watching and experiencing North Carolina versus Duke. You know, the environment of the Bobcats and Sabercats playing and in whichever gym you're playing at is always exciting and fun to be part of. But, you know, losing Westaco High, yeah, I mean, a lot of respect to Coach Griselda Fino and what she does at Westaco High and the rivalries that we've had throughout the years, these last 2 years of playing in the same district. But we bring in Randy Bocanegra and the PSJ North Lady Raiders, and you know, La Jolla, Coach Gonzalez is doing a great job over there, and it's exciting to get, you know, to have a different taste of the district. But obviously the big district is concerning with where we're at when we start district, which in our case, I mean, we have our meeting tomorrow morning, but it looks like we could potentially be starting district on December the 8th.
Really?
Girls basketball. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now, you know, when Lucio took the job, because he was in Edinburg, and people, you know, before this, when Lucio, when you went over there, did you ask for any advice before you left, or did you just like, you know, I'm going to slide out in the middle of the night?
No, obviously, a lot of people, Coach Garcia, the assistant there, Coach Cuellar, Coach Salinas, and Coach Leija. I went into his office and I spoke to him and spoke to him about his way of moving up and how he ended up becoming a head coach. And he told me that maybe one day you're going to have to leave the nest to go make a name for yourself. And that always stuck by me. And you know, I even went to go talk to Miss Molina, and when I made the decision, and she was very supportive. You know, she said she'd be a bad principal, she would not allow me to go over there. So there a lot of support from Edinburg High as far as when I made the decision to go be the assistant with Coach Keith. Everybody wants to see your assistants grow, get better jobs, get promoted. That's my philosophy. You know, if I can help my coaches go get a head position or a JV coach become a varsity assistant, why not? You know, why not? That's why we're doing this. I always had the goal of becoming a head coach, and I was told that if I ever wanted to become a head coach, a JV position on my resume is probably not going to be sufficient. So it was a decision a career decision to take the next step, and that was becoming the varsity assistant for Coach Keith at Vela. And from a basketball standpoint, it was an easy decision. You know.
Okay. What was the hardest part for both of you when you guys first took over your programs? Because, you know, you were taking over. There was a lot of pressure on both of you when you guys took over. What was the hardest part? What was the hardest thing you had to overcome when you first came in?
I think with me, you know, taking over what Rachel Carmona had done and the success that she's had. I mean, she's a legend in girls basketball, and especially down here in the Rio Grande Valley. And I was lucky to have been part of 7 out of, I think she was there for 10 years, but 7 years as under her direction as the head coach. And it's not easy. It's, you know, when you take over a coach that has that much success, you know, but you know, I think the hardest part was, like I said, was just people buying into what we were going to try to do there, you know, in running the program. There's a lot of great things that I learned from her, just like the way Lucio was saying. I worked under Coach Guad for a couple of years also before I went, you know, with the girls program for so long, and then went to the boys program for 2 years before getting on as the head coach of the Lady Bobcats. But yeah, it certainly is. It's kind of, it's hard to explain, but you know, you can't go in trying to fill somebody else's shoes all the time. Sometimes you just got to do your own thing. And when you take care of yourself and your program the way you want to do things, a lot of that other stuff seems to not be so much weight bearing.
And Lucio, you know, you came in, and you know, Coach Keith the year before didn't have the same run that Lalo Rios had, but he was only there for a year. But then you came in. What was it like? Because I have to imagine you were an Edinburg guy. People were looking at you to bring back, you know, Vela to the state title games, you know, again. What was that like?
I mean, I don't think I ever felt like that. You know, I don't think we didn't even feel like that when Coach Keith was there. We were just there to coach basketball, try and do our best. So obviously we're going to work our tails off to put the best team on the court. But I mean, to me, the pressure of coaching basketball, I really don't feel it. You know, it's basketball. There's only so many things that can happen on the court. But I'll go back to the question that the hardest part is obviously the credibility. You know, first year head coach at a school like Vela, obviously people are gonna question that. You know, but I thank ECISD. I thank Coach Ms. Ledesma, Coach Campbell, and Coach Lottie for giving me this opportunity. Coach Garza, and you know, I hope that we're doing the good enough job that they're expecting. So. And hopefully the credibility starts to build year after year, you know. But obviously that was the hard part, you know. The kids, it's a first-year coach. I always apologize to them for having a first-year coach as their senior season. But, you know, it ended up turning to be all right.
Now, I wanted to throw this out there. This is the last thing I kind of want to mention, is that when you were a senior in high school, Coach Salinas and I drove all the way to Zapata to see you guys play Laredo United. Okay, and there's two parts to this story. We drive all the way.
It was Roma. It was Roma.
Zapata, Salinas?
Well, I think the Zapata was probably the year after. I think it was Raleigh's.
Oh, it was the year after. Okay, so I can't hate on you on this one, but I just want to throw this out there. This is how much love Salinas had for the Bobcats. We went to the Laredo United game. I'm sorry, it was the year after you were there, but they were, you know, Edinburg. You know, body-wise, they look like the team that should have beat Laredo United. Laredo United had some smaller guys that could shoot lights out, but like always. But Salinas after the game goes up and starts, high-fiving all the Laredo United kids because he had coached them in middle school. And I wanted that was like one of those moments. I was like, wow, what a turncoat.
Hey, Matt, when I first started my teaching career, it was in Laredo at United Middle School. And so a lot of those guys that were playing that night were my former students when I was coaching at United Middle. So, I mean, the profession of education is so valuable. And I think a lot of teachers, well, I should say a lot of parents are starting to value what teachers go through, you know, and what we're in the situation of the coronavirus right now. Um, but you know, the value of what takes place in education and in coaching, you build these relationships with these student athletes. You go through the great times and the bad times, and no matter how old you are, even to this day, you know, I still remember my high school coaches, and I still respect them with all my heart, you know, and I'm sure a lot of the student athletes that we have gone through or through our programs right now, they feel the same way.
You know what? I'm sorry. Let me ask this last question. Your schedule next year. What's that one power game that you're going to have at the beginning of the year? Who's that knockout game? But yeah, you know it's going to be a tough game, but you've scheduled it anyways. What's that game?
Well, Lou, you have yours already all done, don't you?
Yeah, we always play Laredo United. You know, they bring the best out of us. They really kind of exploit our weaknesses early on in the year, so we're able to go back, watch film, and kind of mold around that game, because you know that's going to be a playoff team. Coach Ramos does a great job with it. They're a Sweet 16 team this year, so we schedule them. We schedule Coach Molina at Harlingen South. We'll be opening up with them, and then we got Rowe, Mac High, and Laredo United South. So those will be our 5 non-district games.
And Salinas, you haven't finished yours yet?
No, we haven't completed everything yet. Being the new district and so forth, we had a lot of teams that we had to let go that we played the last couple of years. But historically, we've always opened up with Harlingen High, and that's always a big one. But we'll see. I haven't talked to Coach Ashley. I haven't really put it all together yet. But the only 2 out of the 5 that I have confirmed are Laredo United South and Laredo Nixon. So I've got to, you know, go back and check to see where we're going to be at with, and tomorrow's meeting with our district is going to help, because once we have that finalized, what we're doing during Christmas break, what we're doing during Thanksgiving break, and well, Thanksgiving shouldn't be a district game, but when do we start district? We're able to put, you know, pencil to paper and start making these assignments. But, you know, last year we had a really good non-district season. We had Harlingen, and then went to a tournament, and then we played Brownsville Veterans with, you know, they do a super job, whether it was with Valentin Paz, and now it's Arnold Torres. I mean, there's such a great program at Veterans. And we had Harlingen South, we had Los Fresnos, Pioneer, you know, they had a really good year. Jordan should be back for her senior year. I think she's going to be a senior this year. So, you know, and then we had PSJ North, Hidalgo, you know, small school, but gosh, those guys play, you know, incredible basketball. So we'll see what's available, and we'll start marking up the calendar soon.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for joining us for Cabin Fever. It's a nice change of pace. I was doing football, got to do a little bit of basketball last night with Eric Montalvo, and now you gentlemen. I appreciate it, and thanks for joining me.